The voicemail came through at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was under a Chevy Silverado, changing the oil, when my phone buzzed in my pocket. "Mr. Harrison, this is Dr. Patel's office calling about your recent STD screening. Both you and your wife tested positive for chlamydia. We need you both to come in for treatment as soon as possible. Please call us back at..." I lay there on the creeper, staring at the undercarriage of the truck, oil dripping into the pan beside my head. Both of us. Positive. Here's the thing that made my blood run cold. I haven't touched my wife in 14 months, not since the night she told me she needed space and moved into the guest bedroom. Not since she started her fitness journey that required 5 a.m. gym sessions and evening yoga classes. Not since she bought new lingerie I never saw her wear. I rolled out from under the truck, wiped my hands on a shop rag, and called the number back. "Hi, this is James Harrison. I just got a message about test results." The receptionist's voice was professionally sympathetic. "Yes, Mr. Harrison. Dr. Patel would like to see both you and your wife as soon as possible to discuss treatment options. Can I ask when these tests were done? Let me check. It looks like your wife came in last week for her annual exam. The doctor ordered a full panel as a precaution." My wife went to the doctor, got tested, listed me as her sexual partner, knowing damn well we haven't been intimate in over a year. "I'll call you back to schedule," I said. I hung up. And then I did something that would change everything. I didn't call her. I didn't confront her. I didn't explode. I called my lawyer. Then I called a private investigator. Then I made a doctor's appointment of my own, because if she was going to burn down our marriage, I was going to make sure I had a fire extinguisher, a huge insurance policy, and photographic evidence of her holding the match. If you want to know how a mechanic with grease under his nails outsmarted a cheating wife and her lawyer using nothing but patience, paperwork, and one very strategic STD test, hit subscribe, because what I did next wasn't revenge, it was chess. My name is James Harrison. I'm 39 years old, and I've been a mechanic in Dayton, Ohio for the last 20 years. I own a small shop on the east side, Harrison's Auto Repair. 2 bays, 1 office, and a waiting room with coffee that's been described as aggressively mediocre. I'm the guy who shows up at 6 a.m. and leaves at 7 p.m., smelling like motor oil and brake fluid. I'm the guy who gives honest estimates, doesn't upsell parts you don't need, and has a reputation for fixing things right the first time. I'm also the guy whose wife, Melissa, stopped looking at him like a husband about 2 years ago and started looking at him like an inconvenience. We've been married for 12 years, no kids. She never wanted them, said they'd interfere with her career. She works in pharmaceutical sales, makes good money, drives a company car, travels for conferences 3 or 4 times a year. For the first 8 years, things were good. Not perfect, but good. Then something shifted. It started small. New clothes, a sudden interest in the gym, a phone that was always face down. "I'm just trying to take better care of myself," she'd say when I noticed the changes. Fair enough. I supported it. Even joined her at the gym a few times until she made it clear she preferred going alone. "It's my me time," she explained. "You understand, right?" I did. Or I thought I did. Then came the "I need space" conversation. We were in bed, our bed, when she said it. "James, I think we should sleep separately for a while, just until I figure some things out." Figure what out? I don't know. I need room to breathe. She moved into the guest bedroom that night. That was 14 months ago. 14 months of living like roommates, polite conversations over coffee, separate schedules, separate lives. 14 months of me wondering what I'd done wrong, and her acting like everything was fine. And now, 14 months later, I get a call about an STD we both supposedly have. Except I haven't been with anyone, not her,
not anyone, which means she has, and she was stupid enough or arrogant enough to list me as her partner when she got tested. I didn't go home that night. I called my buddy Rick, told him I needed to crash on his couch, and drove straight to his place with my phone turned off. I needed to think, to plan, to not do something stupid. Rick handed me a beer and didn't ask questions until I was ready. "She's cheating," I finally said. "You sure?" I told him about the doctor's call, about the test results, about the 14 months of separate bedrooms. Rick whistled low. "Whistle? Man, what are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I'm not going in blind." He nodded. "You need a lawyer?" "Already called one." "PI?" "Yep." Rick raised his beer. "Smart. Don't let her see you coming." We drank in silence for a while. Then Rick said, "You know what the worst part is?" "What?" "She thought you were stupid enough to believe her." That hit harder than the diagnosis. The next morning, I went to my own doctor. Dr. Mitchell had been my physician for 15 years. He knew me, knew my history. "James," he said, looking at the voicemail I'd played for him, "when's the last time you were sexually active?" 14 months ago, with my wife." He made a note. "And since then?" "Nothing. Nobody." "No symptoms? No discharge, burning, anything?" "Nothing." He nodded slowly. "I'm going to run a full panel. If you haven't been intimate with anyone in over a year, and you're showing positive for a recent infection, that's concerning." "Concerning how?" "Chlamydia doesn't stay dormant that long without symptoms. If you're positive, it's recent. If you're negative, then she got it from someone else and lied about me being her partner." "I'm not going to speculate," he said carefully, "but yes, that would be the logical conclusion." He drew blood, took samples, sent me home with instructions to wait 48 hours for results. Those were the longest 48 hours of my life.
While I waited, I met with my lawyer. His name was Frank Caruso, mid-50s, gray hair, the kind of guy who'd seen every divorce trick in the book and invented a few of his own. "Tell me everything," he said. I did. The separate bedrooms, the gym, the phone, the doctor's call. He took notes, asked questions, didn't interrupt. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. "First thing, get your own test results. We need documentation that you're clean." "Already done, waiting on results." "Good. Second, don't confront her, not yet." "Why not?" "Because right now she doesn't know you know. That's your advantage. The moment you confront her, she'll lawyer up, get defensive, start hiding assets." He pulled out a legal pad. "We're going to build a case, quietly, methodically, and when we're ready, we're going to hit her with everything at once." "What do I need?" "Evidence of the affair, financial records, documentation of her behavior, and most importantly, proof that she exposed you to an STD without your knowledge." "That's a crime, isn't it?" Frank smiled. "In Ohio, it's grounds for an at-fault divorce, which means no alimony, and if we play this right, you keep everything you've built while she was screwing someone else." I liked the sound of that. Next, I met with the private investigator. Her name was Diana Reeves, former cop, now ran her own investigation firm. She didn't look like a PI. She looked like someone's aunt. Floral blouse, reading glasses on a chain, but her eyes were sharp. "Your lawyer sent over the basics," she said. "Suspected affair, need documentation." "How long will it take?" "Depends. If she's sloppy, a week. If she's careful, maybe a month." "What do you need from me?" "Her schedule, gym locations, any names you've heard, access to phone records if possible." I gave her everything I had. "One more thing," Diana said. "Don't change your behavior. Don't act suspicious. Don't ask questions. Pretend everything is normal." "That's going to be hard." "I know, but if she suspects you're onto her, she'll go underground. We need her comfortable." I nodded. "How much is this going to cost?" She named a figure. It wasn't cheap, but neither was my marriage, and I wasn't about to let her walk away with half of what I'd built while she was screwing someone else. "Do it," I said.
My test results came back 2 days later. Negative, across the board. I stared at the paper, reading it 3 times to make sure I wasn't missing something. Chlamydia? Negative. Gonorrhea? Negative. HIV? Negative. Everything? Negative. I called Dr. Mitchell. So I'm clean? Completely. Which means if your wife tested positive and listed you as her partner, she either lied about your sexual activity or she got it from someone else. Can you document this? I can provide a letter stating your test results and the date of your last intimate contact based on what you've told me. Do it. I need it in writing. He agreed. I took the letter straight to Frank's office. He read it, smiled, and added it to a growing file. This is good, James. Really good. Now we wait for the PI. Diana worked fast. Within a week, she had a pattern. Melissa went to the gym every morning at 5 a.m., but she didn't work out. She met someone there, a personal trainer named Kyle Brennan. Mid-30s, muscular, the kind of guy who posts shirtless gym selfies with motivational quotes. They'd talk for a few minutes in the parking lot, then leave separately. But they'd end up at the same place, a Starbucks 3 miles away. They'd sit in his car, talk, laugh, sometimes more than talk. Diana got photos, time-stamped, dated. They're careful, Diana said, but not careful enough. Is this enough? For proof of an affair, yes, but I want more. More? I want to know where they go after Starbucks. It took another week, but Diana found it, a rental property, a small house on the outskirts of town, leased under Kyle's name. Melissa's car was there every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. Diana got photos of them entering together, staying for 2 hours, leaving separately. That's your smoking gun, Diana said. Frank laid it all out on his desk like a general planning a campaign. Here's what we have. Medical records showing she's positive for an STD. Medical records showing you're negative. Proof you haven't been intimate in over a year. Photos of her with another man. Evidence of regular meetings at a rental property. He looked up. This is an at-fault divorce. Adultery. In Ohio, that means she gets nothing. Nothing? No alimony, no claim to your business. She keeps what she brought into the marriage and what she earned, but she doesn't get to profit from cheating. I felt something loosen in my chest. When do we file? Soon, but first, I want to do something strategic. What? I want to send her a letter. The letter arrived at her office on a Monday morning. It was from Frank's firm. Professional, polite, devastating. Dissolution of marriage, Harrison versus Harrison. Dear Mrs. Harrison, our firm represents your husband, James Harrison, in the matter of your marriage dissolution. Please be advised that we have documented evidence of adultery, including but not limited to photographic evidence of an ongoing affair with Kyle Brennan, medical records indicating you tested positive for a sexually transmitted infection, medical records indicating Mr. Harrison tested negative for all STIs, proof that you and Mr. Harrison have not been intimate in over 14 months. Under Ohio Revised Code, Section 3105.171, adultery is grounds for an at-fault divorce, which affects property division and spousal support. We are prepared to file a formal complaint. However, in the interest of resolving this matter efficiently, we propose the following settlement. No alimony. Mr. Harrison retains sole ownership of Harrison's Auto Repair. Mrs. Harrison retains her vehicle, personal accounts, and retirement funds. All marital debts divided equally. If you agree to these terms, we can proceed with an uncontested dissolution. If not, we will file an at-fault complaint and pursue full discovery, including depositions of Mr. Brennan. You have 10 days to respond. Sincerely, Frank Caruso, Esquire.
She called me that night. I was at the shop, finishing up a brake job when my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again. Finally, I answered. "James," her voice was shaking,
We need to talk. About what? About this letter. What about it? It's not... You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I said calmly. You cheated. You got an STD. You lied to your doctor about us being intimate. And now you're caught. Silence. James, please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain, Melissa. You made your choices. Now you live with them. I never meant to hurt you. But you did, and you kept doing it for over a year. I was confused. You were selfish, I interrupted. You wanted your space. You got it. You wanted someone else. You found him. You just wanted to keep me around as a backup plan. That's not fair. Fair? I laughed. You exposed me to an STD. You lied to a doctor. You committed adultery. And now you're being unfair? She started crying. Please, James, don't do this. We can work it out. No, we can't. Sign the papers, Melissa. Take the deal. Because if you don't, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what you did. I hung up. She signed. 10 days later, her lawyers sent the signed settlement agreement to Frank. No alimony, no claim to my business. Clean split. The divorce was finalized 60 days later. I kept the shop, kept my house, kept my dignity. She kept her car, her job, and her shame. Kyle Brennan, the personal trainer, turns out he was married too. I sent his wife a copy of Diana's photos, anonymously. She filed for divorce 2 weeks later. 6 months after the divorce was final, I was under a Honda Accord replacing a transmission when someone knocked on the bay door. We're closed, I called out. I know. I saw the light on. I rolled out from under the car. A woman stood in the doorway, mid-30s, jeans, ponytail. She looked familiar. Do I know you? I'm Kyle's ex-wife, Rachel. I stood up, wiping my hands. I'm sorry for... Don't be, she interrupted. You did me a favor. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. I just wanted to say thank you. For the photos. For the truth. I'd been suspicious for months, but I didn't have proof. I'm glad it helped. She smiled. Can I buy you a coffee sometime? As a thank you? I hesitated. I don't know if that's a good idea. Why not? Because we both just got out of bad marriages, and I'm not looking to jump into anything. Neither am I. I'm just looking for a friend who understands what it's like to be lied to. I thought about that. Coffee, I said. Just coffee. Just coffee, she agreed.
We met at a diner the following Saturday. Talked for 3 hours. She told me about Kyle, the lies, the gaslighting, the way he made her feel crazy for suspecting what turned out to be true. I told her about Melissa, the separate bedrooms, the space, the doctor's call that changed everything. You know what the worst part was? Rachel said. What? Realizing I'd wasted years on someone who didn't respect me enough to tell the truth. Yeah, I said, I know that feeling. We finished our coffee, walked to our cars. Same time next week? She asked. Yeah, I'd like that. It's been a year since the divorce. I still run the shop, still show up at 6 a.m., still make aggressively mediocre coffee, but I'm not angry anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm just free. Rachel and I are taking it slow. Coffee turned into dinners, dinners turned into movies, movies turned into something that feels like the beginning of something real. But we're not rushing. We've both learned what happens when you ignore red flags and hope for the best. Now we pay attention, we communicate, we tell the truth, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Melissa? I heard she moved to Cleveland. New job, new city, new start. I hope she's happy, I really do. Not because I forgive her, but because holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. I choose to let it go. Kyle lost his job at the gym, lost his wife, lost his reputation. Last I heard, he was working at a Planet Fitness in Akron. I don't feel sorry for him. Play stupid games? win stupid prizes. The thing about betrayal is this: it teaches you who you are. When Melissa cheated, I could have exploded, could have confronted her in a rage, could have made a scene, but I didn't. I got quiet. I got strategic. I got smart. I built a case like I'd build an engine, piece by piece, bolt by bolt, until everything fit together perfectly. And when it was time to start it up, it ran smooth. That's the difference between revenge and justice. Revenge is emotional, loud, messy. Justice is patient, calculated, clean. I didn't destroy Melissa's life. I just made sure she couldn't destroy mine. If you've ever gotten that call, the one that changes everything, this one's for you. If you've ever been lied to, cheated on, or made to feel like you're crazy for trusting your gut, this one's for you. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're just paying attention. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Then build your case, protect yourself, and walk away with your head high. Because the best revenge isn't making them suffer, it's making sure they can't take anything else from you. Hit subscribe if this one hit home. Comment, "I'm free," if you've ever had to rebuild after betrayal. Because respect isn't something you beg for, it's something you demand, quietly, strategically, with receipts. And when the dust settles, you're still standing, and they're just a chapter you're glad you closed.